Coming live from the 215, it's your boy ROCKIIN REESE bringing another edition of WCC Ring Rockers, the show where the music and the wrestling talk never stop. And we are in week 2 of WCC's March Madness. And tonight we are going time traveling because we are going to take wrestlers from one era and put them in another to see how they do. But before we get started, I want to welcome Mr. Friday Night, the number one man 2 weeks in running of the WCC main event, Doug Barrett. Doug, how you doing?
I feel good. I love those applause. It's very, very rare that I get applause, and I am ready tonight to join Mr. Peabody and Sherman in the Wayback Machine.
All right. Or we may fire up the DeLorean. We can take both. And also want to throw in our special guest returning all the way from South Carolina. We got my man Jason, a.k.a. Microphone Man. Jason, how you doing?
Thank y'all. It's good to have a Southern boy in the room. It's turning out pretty good.
Oh, yeah, we definitely love to have that. As a matter of fact, Jay, I'm going to start it off with you because we got the big event coming up this weekend. We have the Bud Reimer Memorial Cup. It'll take place both Friday and Saturday at the Forest City National Guard Armory, 890 Withrow Road, Forest City, North Carolina, 28043. And it's going to be a meet and greet at 6 p.m. The doors open at 7, bell time is 8 p.m. And tickets are, now if you're going to go either Friday or Saturday only, it'll be $6. If you're going to go both nights, tickets are $10. And, of course, the big tournament, we're going to break it down a little bit. First of all, before we even go to the matches in the tournament, Microphone Man, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Bud Reimer Cup Memorial Tournament?
Yes, this has been in the works for many, many years. Bud Reimer was actually David Reimer's uncle, and then he also run it with Pops. Now, I'll get to that in just a little bit. And this has been going on for 14 years now. They do this every year. Every year it gets bigger and bigger and badder and badder. Well, this year it actually turned into a 2-day event because so much talent was wanting to get in. So basically that's what happened. Now, not only is it about great wrestling, we're actually doing a great charity as well. There's a Grace of God Rescue Mission that's in Forest City, North Carolina, which is right down the road from where the venue is. And basically we're taking canned goods for them. And they have a kitchen that serves people every day. They have a men's shelter, a women's shelter, and a drug rehab shelter as well. So, and also everybody come out to the meet and greet because the wrestlers are going to be there. And we're also going to be doing games for the kids. And I call them carnival games, like cornhole and stuff like that. So it's actually going to be a very good time. This is a family-based business, okay? Everybody that works that event is family. David Reimer, promoter, Mary Reimer / Alexis Paris. These people, even his mom, his cousins, everybody's together and it's family-friendly. And this has been about a tradition of wrestling. And that's the great thing because there's something very important going on that night. The past year, Pops Reimer died, which is David Reimer's father. And they're actually going to be commemorating him with a plaque. And Dr. Feelgood and Chuck Caldwell will be inducting him into the SWA Hall of Fame. And that's the beginning. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that was awesome because I was going to ask about Pops, but but you already covered it for me, so that was a pretty cool. Yep. And and also the Grace of God. So that's a real awesome that you guys are making this a whole giant fiesta because this really shows what independent wrestling can do when everybody puts their egos aside and just does something for the people. And
yes, sir, and that's what we're doing. We're just trying to move forward and trying to do stuff to give back to the community. I mean, you can go into a town and you can run a show and then run away. This has been in the same venue for 14 years, and SWA is about family. And a part of being family is taking care of the people around you. And there's a lot of people that's down and out, you know what I'm saying? Especially, the men's shelters, the women's shelters, and even the drug rehab center. There's people that need help in this life. And, sometimes as a wrestling association, it is great to look beyond your doors and beyond your pocketbook, and that's basically what SWA is about. It's about family. It's about, reaching out and moving on beyond the pocketbook. We just want to give back to the community that's given to us for, 15 years now. So that's what we want to do, and we're a partnership with the grace of God, and I see it as a lasting relationship. I really do.
All right, and let's get into the tournament now. I don't have these in the exact order because I didn't see how the brackets are set up prior to the tournament. So I'm just going to jump around as we talk about each match here. Of course, we have the reigning SWA Tag Team Champions, High Profile. They'll be in action taking on the Frequent Flyers.
Yes, that is correct. And that one, man, I'm going to tell you what. There's some people in the world that are just high action, high impact, and these guys are. I mean, they're the people that you want to see that's, busting one right after the other, inside the ring and outside the ring. That's going to actually be a killer match, man. And, with them being SWA Tag Team Champions, they're going to bring it.
Yeah, I was about to say, so pretty much what you're saying is this match is you had 4 Eddie Guerreros in their prime, all fighting each other. Yeah, that's pretty much what we should be expecting for this one, right?
Yes, I would on that one.
Have to throw a comparison.
Yeah, this is going to be one of them matches that, to be honest with you, it's hard to keep them in the ring. Most of the time when these fellas meet up, it usually ends up with their outside. And you got to be, when they tell you to look out, you better look out.
Yeah. All right, and then another match in the tournament. We got world champions colliding as the SWA heavyweight champion Rob Killjoy teams up with the AIWF heavyweight champion Salem Center 6 to take on the Moose Nation.
Oh man, okay, this is a good one here. This is actually well, we just now found out that Moose won't be there. We literally just found that out, so I hate that. But we got a couple of, Jeff Lewis Neal, he actually backed out as well. We had actually some couple of people that had to get back, and they had some constrictions on what they're doing in traveling, and that's what killed them. But let me go ahead and finish this up for you. The two that you're talking about, let me explain to you what Rob Killjoy is. Rob Killjoy is probably one of the fastest moving and well technical wrestlers I've seen in years. Now, Salem Center 6, and don't worry, when people, how independent wrestling is. Like you said the other day, the card is subject to change. That happens. So we just move on and add people. But between Rob and Salem 6, whoever they're going against, they're going to have to bring it to the table 110%. Salem Center 6, I got to get that right because that's a big dude.
Yeah.
He is a beast. And I've seen him pick up people his size and sling them. So, man, I'm telling you, y'all, if you're in the area of North and South Carolina, it's worth it. But I do tell people, like you said, the 2-day ticket is worth it. So there's that. Then going on, we got a little some Ring of Honor action going on within the tournament because you have Lance and Harlem, the Bravado Brothers, taking on Stephen Walters and John Schuyler, the Love-Hate Machine. Oh, yes. Now, that right there, that's top notch. It really is. I mean, you're talking about 2 tag teams that are, been in the business, and especially the Bravado Brothers, everybody's seen them in Ring of Honor. I know I've seen them in Shikara, a couple of times myself. And I love them guys because they're just professional and they're great at what they do. And if you want to come see a solid tag team interaction, come see that match.
Right, and then moving on, we have the Stargate taking on the Southern Anarchy.
Yes. Now, this is going to be 2 different types of people. You've got the Stargate, which I call more of a finesse, a finesse team. And then you have the Southern Anarchy, which are just rough and tough, rowdy guys, So it's kind of neat to see the 2 styles clash.
Yeah. What I have the Speedsters versus the Roughhousers in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you see that finesse in one team with Stargate, and then you turn right around and you have Southern Anarchy, and, man, they're just ready to fight. Yeah. It's just pretty much what you're dealing with.
All right, and then of course, the Fans' Choice in this one. Well, this team was the Fans' Choice team voted in. The Bowl of Gravy taking on the BOD.
Yes. Now, don't let the name fool you. Bowl of Gravy is actually a very good team. Stumpy, and Garrett, I'm telling you, it's high energy. And then Stumpy's great. He's actually just a good old country boy. Stumpy even has a yard sale at the show. Now, I'm telling you, does that sound crazy or not? It is a redneck yard sale. I'm serious. And let me tell you something. You're sitting there laughing at it, but I'm going to tell you, they make money doing that stuff. So Stumpy's going to be there.
I'm laughing because I don't think I've ever heard of a yard sale like during an actual. I'm laughing because it's like, that's innovative. I was like, I actually wish I had thought of it myself. So.
Hey, it works. I'm telling you. And when you come in the door, he sets up signs. Like when you're going to a yard sale in the neighborhood, they put signs up. Well, Stumpy has them as you come in the door, so you know to take a right and go towards Stumpy's yard sale. And it's a redneck yard sale. Who else is going to do a yard sale in a wrestling event? So, and to be honest with you, it goes over big time.
And not to mention, if anything else, it gives you a 2-for-1 because it's like, oh yeah, you're going to be wrestling in a car too. It's like, do you have any of your card stuff? And it's like, ooh, you'd like kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's pretty good stuff. I mean, the last time I went, and I seriously went over, I was like, what the crap, This man has actually got a yard sale going on, but it's pretty good junk, Now in the South, we have a lot of what we call junk sales, and then we have yard sales. So he's kind of like a mix between the two. He's got the yard sales and the junk sales at the same time, but either way, if you've never been to a wrestling event that has a yard sale, well, then you need to come to this one.
All right. Then, of course, we have, moving on, we have Locked and Loaded taking on Real Excellence.
Yes. This is going to be solid. And when I say solid, this is going to be two teams that you're going to see that are similar, but at the same time, it's going to go great. And one thing to keep in mind about a lot of these teams are, this is an elimination. So either one of these teams moving forward will make it really extremely hard for the next group.
And then, of course, moving on, we have Kid and of course, our only mixed team in the tournament. We get a Kid Chaos and Alexis Parrish taking on team beat down the Pain Gang.
Yes, and we're going to have a slight change on that as well. We ended up shuffling some people around, and believe it or not, David Reimer, Wicked, the man himself, promoter, is coming out of retirement, and he's going to wrestle. Him and Alexis are going to take on that team. So we actually shuffled some people around. Obviously, you know why. And so we've actually moved on, and we're going to make a heck of a match out of that. So you're going to have a mixed tag. And like I said before, I think we've talked about Alexis Parrish before. The whole New England female wrestling thing. She's actually going to be on that March 22nd, and that's a custom thing where you put your orders in by the 17th of March, and she's going to be wrestling great independent wrestlers like Jordan Grace, people like that, top notch. And I'll put her over big time because I've seen a lot of female wrestlers, but Alexis Parrish has trained with men pretty much her whole career. And if you watch her wrestle a man, you'd feel sorry for the man, just to be honest with you. All right.
All right, and then finally, we have Team Ego competing in the tournament as well.
Yes, two legit. Yeah, them two right there are actually going to be. That's going to be great, and that's going to be a good one too. And also keep in mind, we also have James Drake and Chris Hamrick from ECW will be there as well. Okay. So, and everybody knows who Chris Hamrick is. I mean, you should know. He was a great superstar.
Yeah, I forgot what he used to call himself. It was Southern something, but I was like, but I've known Hamrick for quite a good time though. Down in I've seen him down in Tennessee in the Smoky Mountain area, and Hamrick could definitely mix it up with anybody.
And that's one thing about him. I mean, she's talented. How many times have you seen the Hamrick bump? Where he goes and slips through the ropes and just landed. It's like I'm surprised that man can even walk. As many falls and jumps and stuff he's done in ECW, that is probably one of the toughest son of a guns I've ever seen in my life, and I'm really excited about it, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people don't know this, but in here in the South Carolina, North Carolina area, there's a lot of promotions, especially North Carolina. But at the same time, this is bringing talent from all over. You know, it's not only big talent from outside sources. This is talent from around here. So if we recommend this event to everybody. And I recommend both days. And because, you know, for $10, you can go 2 days. Each day is $6. So, and we're also doing a bracket, and this is pretty cool. I think I told you this earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, please talk about this because considering we called our theme for the month March Madness, you're doing a little March Madness in your own right.
Yes, we are. Well, basically what's going to happen is people will be given a bracket. Again, the teams will be there. You know, we'll have them listed. And then you write them down on your bracket. Now, this is why it's important that you get there early. And if you fill out your bracket and you say, okay, this team's going to beat this team, this team, this team, it's basically like, you know, like you boys love basketball. You know what I mean? And then you get it right. If you get it right, you're going to get VIP status, I think, up to a year. So that is going to be a awesome thing. It's kind of like a little, you know, got to take a chance. But, heck, it's going to keep it fun. And that's the one thing we're trying to look forward to in wrestling. You know, when you go to a show, you know, I'm one of these guys, when I go out there and announce, I jump around and act like an idiot because I want people to get excited and have fun. You know, this ain't Sunday morning. You know, this is Saturday night. And Saturday night here in South Carolina, North Carolina, we do redneck therapy, and we do it well. And that's what we want. I mean, redneck therapy is what it's all about, and that's about getting out there, having a good time, bringing your kids, not worrying about, you know, some crazy stuff that they're going to hear because we're family-friendly. And David Reimer, Mary Reimer, Mama Reimer, you know, Vince Reimer, the whole Reimer family. This is a family running this thing. And that's something, you know, this is a family with kids, you know, kids from, you know, 7 or 8 months all the way up to, you know, teenagers. And the whole family's a part of it. So when you come in, like, example, Patricia, she'll be at the front door. I mean, she's one of the Reimer family. It's not like you're going to, you know, an event staff is being hired. This family's been doing this for 14 years. So what that tells you is when you come in, you're family. And that's how they treated me. Whenever I come to SWA and they talk to me and I talk to them, the minute that, you know, we said, hey, we'd like for you to come out, they treated me like family, Reese. And I think that's what wrestling needs to be about. You know, you need to come to wrestling, have a great time, bring your kids, and watch something live. And I'm sure these other guys on the line will agree with me. Live wrestling is where it's at. You know, there's so much junk today, like, you know, the iPads and the computers, and all that's great. And, you know, go watch a movie or whatever. But there's nothing like going and watching live wrestling. You know, that's memories for me. You know, I remember being a kid and, you know, basically, you know, seeing Ric Flair, Magnum TA down here in the South. That's a big deal, and I remember that. And at SWA, we want to actually create an environment for your people. And I'm so sorry I got talking.
That's all right. Because, you know, we always allow our guests to, like, we love our guests to, like, talk about this because, you know, like I said, now I'm even fired up now because I was like, yeah, because I know, like, every now and then I, like, come down Carolina to visit my nephew for a weekend, so, or if, like, because they're down in Durham, so, yeah, that could be a good experience for, like, me and him because because I, like, got him into wrestling after, like,
yeah. And people need that. I agree with you. I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, we have dates every month. I mean, we're slammed through September. I mean, we're going to be in Camden and Sumter. I mean, we're going to be all kinds of places. So if you come this way, holler at us, and we'll take care of you, brother.
All right. And just run down the card one more time. It is Southern Wrestling Association's 14th Annual Bud Reimer Memorial Tag Team Tournament. It'll take place both Friday and Saturday at the Forest City National Guard Armory, 890 Withrow Road in Forest City, North Carolina, 28043. Do remember that doors open at 7. Bell time is 8 p.m. for both nights. And tickets, like Phil Man said, for Friday or Saturday night is $6. If you want to attend both nights, it's 10. And if you want to follow these guys, make sure you look for them on Facebook at SWA, and follow them on YouTube as well under the SWA channel.
Yes.
And I'll have more events going on later on in the night. Boys, let's fire up that old time travel machine because Doug, with the Stugging microphone, I know you guys probably like thought about, oh, this guy was good, but I wonder how he would do in this era. I'm pretty sure you've had one of them conversations at least once, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, exactly.
Reese, I have some bad news. When you guys were discussing the tournament, I kind of stole the Wayback Machine and made the American Mayors versus the Fantastics. So, yeah, enjoy that.
Thank you, man. Yeah, but I thought of a couple of people I would have liked to probably imagine in a different era. And one of the first ones I'm going to start off, actually, microphone, you actually mentioned this guy, would be Magnum TA.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Now, of course, Magnum was like a stud in the mid-'80s until that tragic car accident. But
yes.
Shortened his career. But I was kind of thinking, I kind of imagine, what if Magnum were around probably in the, let's go maybe the late 60s, like just after Bruno was fading off, or maybe in the early 70s, and we could have actually saw Magnum on his rise versus Flair in his rise.
Oh.
How do you guys think of Magnum TA would have done probably in around that era?
Chain wrestling. A lot of chain wrestling.
I think Magnum would have done pretty damn well. I mean, he probably would, if he would have been in the, going up against Bruno, he probably would have beat Bruno for the damn belt, and Bruno would have never had that long-ass title run.
True. Or either that, or let's say this, let's say like Magnum being in the NWA, do you think maybe he would have been the one who took the torch from Harley Race instead of Ric Flair? Imagine
that would be a little hard. I mean, I think he probably could, but let's remember back then, the NWA, that I believe they still voted on, that there was a committee who voted on who would be champion. So it would depend on that wonderful little word called politics.
Yeah, but like I said, it was like tough because Magnum, he had a great rapport with definitely with the crowds, and he definitely was somebody you would definitely would look at on the television as like he was the same as Ric Flair, so it was more of but Flair kind of was like maybe a little over the top with his stuff, so it was like where Magnum, like he could go, he did have a certain charisma, but at least he wasn't as over the top as Flair was, and I thought like it could have been a toss-up right there between those two.
Well, I think the great Ric Flair about Magnum, Magnum was going to be the NWA's version of Hogan, but in a good way, not in a can't wrestle shit. So, Magnum, wish that car accident never happened. I'm going to be honest, if that never happened, Magnum probably would have been, NWA would probably still be big right now, and WCW probably would have not went out of business.
It'd be amazing how much one person can change the wrestling history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, then again, let's look at it this way. Let's also look at it this way, there, Doug. It's like, remember, what would have happened if Ric Flair didn't have his plane accident? Because would he have actually been maybe a 17, 18-time champion?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Flair had a great pull with the commission. I mean, he had a great pull with the commission.
That is true. But
he did.
Yeah. All right. But moving on, I wanted to go to another person, and you always heard it. This guy was definitely a man I felt was ahead of his time. That, of course, being one half of that legendary Midnight Express. Also, with the fabulous ones, you know who I'm talking about, the gangster of love, Sweet Stan Lane.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I was about to say, definitely a man way, way ahead of his time because here's the thing. Here's who I would have thought of. You know how Mr. Perfect and Bobby the Brain Heenan, like, played off of each other? If the NWA allowed Lane and Cornette to, like, all right, if Stan was a singles wrestler and he allowed him and Cornette to play off of each other, I thought that would have been, like, within that realm right there.
I'm thinking.
I agree. I agree. And how would them wrestlers do in today's era? I mean, you think about that. You know, you're talking about a time machine. What if you took somebody in their prime and put them in today's demographic?
Oh, like I said, Lane would have fit perfect now because are you kidding? He's got like the charisma. He's got mic skills. He definitely could play that. He could that type of guy that he could do a great baby face. He could do a nice tweener, and he could definitely be a really cocky heel.
Could he be a recent CM Punk? Because you're almost starting to, you know what I'm saying? You're starting to describe somebody.
Yeah, but I think he wouldn't go that far as Punk would go because, like, Stan kind of had more of that smoothness. He kind of had more like that smoothness to him. So, like, I was about to say if Orton did, I would say he would have been more like a Randy Orton if he didn't get too caught up in the politics scene and didn't wind up getting into all of his legal issues and stuff like that. Or like even I would have said Lane would have been more Shawn Michaels, or Lane would have probably even been more of a Shawn Michaels character, except that I think he would have actually did Shawn better than Shawn did. Woo!
That's
a big word.
Yeah, that's the biggest word of the day.
That's the biggest word of the day.
Yes.
If this was a Pee Wee Herman thing, we'd all be yelling.
Only on Ring Rockers, folks, can we actually talk about Pee Wee's Playhouse. But that was the thing,
listen, if you say the word again, we got to yell again.
Yeah. I said Stan Lane would have been bigger than, probably did Shawn Michaels better than Shawn did. Woo! I think literally, like, even because if you look back to his days in the Fabulous Ones, he definitely got the girls going wild.
And in fact, then I think the girls would have run wild for anything. I mean, look at me. If I was back in that era, all the girls would have been wild about me.
Let's not go that far. All right. And then, of course, another person I would have loved to have seen in a different era would have been the one and only superstar Billy Graham, speaking of men ahead of their time.
Ooh.
Yeah, if he would have came around the time Hogan did, I think we would have heard of superstar Billy Graham and not Hogan.
I'll give you one better. Imagine if Superstar in his prime was around the same time with The Rock. Could you imagine those two trading back and forth on the mic?
Oh, God, no one would want to wrestle because they would just want to hear them talk for 2 hours. The internet would blow up saying, "We don't know what to do."
That would actually be a pretty good promo.
Yeah.
I mean, they could make you want to watch them.
Yeah, because like I say this, Bill, like those two could definitely got the gift of gab going.
And that, I mean, you know, that has a lot to do with a lot of wrestlers' advancement. I mean, if you can't cut a promo, it don't matter how good you are. I mean, I'm sure y'all can come up with like 10 names right now of wrestlers that have great wrestling talent, but they cannot talk on the mic.
See, that's what a lot of people got to think is like you got to be that total package. You got to have the look. you gotta have the mic skills, you gotta have the in-ring. It's like, yeah, because you can have all the talent in the world, but man, if you can't speak, yeah, then I'm sorry, you're not gonna go very far.
You need a manager. You'll have to have a mouthpiece. That's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
Like Paul Heyman, you need a mouthpiece like him that can speak for you, considering you can't talk very well.
You know, sometimes it doesn't have to be a dude. It can be a chick like that one beautiful blonde-legged woman with that new guy from NXT.
Oh, and actually, it's funny you mentioned Paul Heyman because I kind of thought like he was a real big reason Steve Austin finally got over.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve even like said it himself. It was like when Paulie told him, "Hey, just let it come from your heart," and it was like, wow, Austin actually can talk.
Yeah, but let's remember though, Eric Bischoff was an idiot.
Yeah, and speaking of Austin, like I wanted to see, and I know like although they kind of got into it verbally at WrestleMania 21, this has always been a dream match of mine, and this is why I would have said I would have loved to see this man in his prime a few years later. That, of course, being Hot Rod or Roddy Piper.
Heck yeah.
Rowdy in any era in his prime would have just pretty much dominated.
I agree. I have to agree on that one, y'all. Because he was the one thing that whenever he stepped out, either people, I hate to say this, but when some people come out, they get a pop, and a lot of times it's either good or bad. But he got a pop from the good and the bad. They liked him.
Roddy was one of the few guys who, when he was heel, you loved him, and when he was face, you loved him. He was one of the few people who could actually, you would love, even if he was acting like a heel, making and shaving a midget's hair, or fighting Mr. T, or beating up that talk show host at WrestleMania.
Or beating a man across the head with a coconut.
That's fun. I do that every night.
I tell you, Piper was definitely one of those guys. Like he could talk the craziest shit imaginable, but yet somehow you still wound up holding on to every word he was saying because it was like it was that crazy. As a matter of fact, I always go to one of my favorite promos was like at the '92 Royal Rumble, and well, now that I'm older, I obviously caught on to it. But like back when being a 9-10-year-old kid, I was like, I remember how he ended it. Says, "Melody, I got a dream. I came here to win 2 belts." I said, "You apparently been dreaming too, and apparently they've been wet ones." And then like Mean Gene's reaction was just priceless.
Can you imagine being Mean Gene? You never knew what they was going to say, especially Scott Steiner. I mean, Big Papa Pump. Can you imagine interviewing him? You never knew what was coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. No. Trust. If Scott would have been the Big Papa Pump in the '80s, I don't think it would have been an offensive ship to somebody would have been getting fined every week on television.
Yeah. Oh Lord, man! It's half of the wrestlers I knew. I don't think in any era, I would not want to let them have a live mic for too long because odds are we'd probably be hitting the censor button like for 3/4 of the promo, if not more.
I just thought of something. Could you imagine Scott Steiner on the Ultimate Warrior in a promo match?
Oh Lord!
Oh my gosh! It'd be like a bad case of diarrhea. It'd be flying out, wouldn't it?
I think
if that happened, I don't think like the people who work closed captioning could actually work that.
No. Let's be honest. If that happened, I think I would have to stop drinking because it'd be the only way I could understand what they were saying.
Yeah, and
Lord.
I'll tell you who had the real nightmare is whoever has to translate that into foreign languages, because I was like, wait a minute, you want me to put this in another language? I can't even understand what they're saying in English.
Imagine if there was a person doing sign language. I couldn't keep up.
And that just trumped it right there.
Yeah, that's it.
And all right, I wanted to go. Yeah, I wanted to go to a lesser known person, and WCW had often been known for misusing talent. Yeah, that's quite a shock there, folks. But I wanted to go to somebody I felt like actually had potential, but for some reason they never quite used them correctly. This man, and actually one of the few people that Triple H is historically winless against, that of course being the high-flying Alex Wright. And here's one, and I know a lot of people may think I'm nuts for that one, but despite the fact that, we know that the girls were probably plants, well, actually most of them definitely were planted, but it was like he had something, like he came out, he busted the dance, but yet when he was in the ring, he was actually pretty smooth, and plus he could mix it up. He could do like the European catch style. He could go high flying. Actually had a pretty solid ground game as well, but it was just like, he came along right when the NWO was starting to take off or whatever.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. If you're nuts for saying it, I got to be nuts for agreeing with you, because Alex Wright was actually a good talent. WCW, when they were doing that NWO thing, there was a lot of people who got screwed out of it. I mean, Alex Wright was one of them. When he went to do his Berlin gimmick, Larry Sabisco fucked that up, so fuck you, Larry Sabisco. And let's remember, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Glacier. Think about it. Glacier came out before the NWO did, 2 years before it. Glacier would have been big because we all love that, those weird cartoon superhero gimmicks back then. Unfortunately, Glacier came out after the NWO did, and well, we saw how that went.
Well, you know what? I was about to say, I'm surprised the WWE didn't come up with the whole Glacier routine, if I'm going to be truthful.
Yeah. That was an era that definitely you can remember in your life.
Yeah.
It was very colorful.
Yeah, just think of Disco Inferno would have came. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please, fans, please don't start the video game era.
No, I won't. But actually, I want to throw a tag team in here now, because these guys, I felt like, oh man, if these guys were in their youth now, would be perfect, because back in their heyday, they really did, especially because they had one of my favorites. And I do got to admit, this is my guilty pleasure. I do love All-American Boys. I am referring, of course, to Jacques and Raymond, les Rougeau Fabuleux, the Fabulous Rougeau brothers.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
We don't like rock and roll. All we look and listen to is Barry Manilow. Yes, that was great.
Yeah, and what was funny, and if matter of fact, I want to say this with the Rougeaus, that, like, of course, being with Jimmy Hart, of course, we know Jimmy can, like, run off at the mouth, hence the nickname. But believe it or not, when I heard these two do promos without Jimmy Hart, they were just as solid. They were just as solid, especially, like, when they were heel.
Mm-hmm. Talk about a tag team that got screwed over. I mean, great tag team, unfortunately, they were in that weird era that saw so many good tag teams going through the WWF at that time that they kind of got left in the shuffle, so to speak.
Yeah, you had the Bulldogs, the Hearts, Demolition, the Powers, Rockers, Blanchard and Anderson. And I was like, pretty much the Rougeaus were couldn't catch the good break right there.
But at least the older one, I think the older one, you know who I mean, the one who would eventually become the Mountie, at least he was able to get success. It just came without his brother. Well, I'm thinking it right.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I think Raymond was actually older than Jacques, but I got your point nonetheless.
Yay!
And of course, this man definitely. I got to put this man definitely on my list as well. The late Brian Pillman.
Another guy that's by politics.
Yeah, and that is right, because here's why. And I'm going to go to Flying Brian, not the loose cannon. I'm going to Flying Brian on this one, because here is a guy that, to me, I thought was an American pioneer. Because this guy probably did more stuff off the top rope or within midair that, well, as far as American wrestlers went, I would say he probably invented a good 30-35% of the moves that we see now.
Mm-hmm. And let's remember this. Brian Pillman, he actually is one of the few American wrestlers who actually got to face Justin Thunder Liger here in the United States. That's an accomplishment in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then not only that, but of course, being up there in that infamous dungeon, we know how like that definitely helped him out. But even when he was Flying Brian, he still had a great gift. He still had a great promo set. Trust me, he was nowhere close to his days in the Hollywood Blondes and as the loose cannon. But I still remember one promo he had right after Ric Flair turned on Sting. Flair and Nancy got into it, and then and then Brian would say, "Yeah, I know the difference between a girl and a woman," and then he would say, Brian would respond and say, "Yeah, I also know the difference between a lady and a tramp," and of course he was looking at Nancy when he said it, so it was like. I was like, Pillman could get some zingers in on his own as well.
It was so much simpler back then, wasn't it? All you had to do was insult like a valet or a manager. I mean, it was just so simple. Yeah. The storylines today would be so confusing.
I think that's true. Yeah. But Rocky Links, I want to switch things up a bit. You know, we've been talking about wrestlers who we think would be good in other eras. I think we should talk about the ones who, if we put in another era, we would be like, what the fuck are we thinking?
Yeah. You know, Doug, I may save that for next week if I do. But,
okay. Just write me that check next week.
Yeah. Yeah, well, think about it. But, anyway, guys, before I go to the event center, I do want to let everybody know about a couple things coming up real quick. That in 2 weeks' time, when we have our March All Independent show, we're going to have two very special guests on the line today. We'll be you guys will be calling in. You'll be allowed to ask these gentlemen their questions. Our guests will be Michael Hart. He is the grandson, one of the many grandsons of the late great Stu Hart, Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. In both the WWE and NWA. And, of course, to be more specific, Mike is the son of eldest Hart child, Smith Hart. So he'll be on as well. Also, on our March Indie show on March 26th, we will have Tyson, the Ontarian Cyborg Dukes, will be on. He was a member of Team Canada in the 2006 TNA World Cup. He was also in Team International during the 2008 World Cup. He was also in Ring of Honor and WWE as well. So make sure you guys look for that in 2 weeks. And don't forget our all-independent shows will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern as opposed to 10 p.m. because our all-indie shows are really good. Also, I want to give a shout-out to my friend at George's Cards Collectibles. I had a great time there last week with Nick Foley. And matter of fact, I've also put it up in the Wrestling Commentary Central page as well, that in, like for 2 weeks from now, there will be a triple signing on March 29th. Rikishi will be there at the Ox Valley Mall. April 5th, Big Van Vader, and April 12th, Hacksaw Jim Duggan will all be there. And for $50, you can actually get a picture and autograph combo with all three. So instead of like paying for each individual outfit, you can pay $50 and then see all three and get that covered.
You want to get me Vader's autograph as a birthday gift, I can reach.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Well, like I said, I already covered my ticket, so I will definitely have an autograph.
Yeah.
And then I get paid that week, so I may actually pay for a bonus autograph.
Woohoo!
All right, well, I'm going to take us to the event center real quick because matter of fact, this is one of the most loaded event centers, especially when you hear like everybody who's going to be on each card. So it's always WCC wants to remind each and every one of you to support and defend your local independent wrestling companies because without your support, they will not be able to run. So make sure you go check out all of these cards, starting with our Friday cards. We have Bruce City Wrestling presenting BCW March Madness from the Knights of Columbus, 1800 South 96th Street, West Allis, Wisconsin, 53214. Doors are open at 6:45, bell time 7:30. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door. For the BCW heavyweight title, Dysfunction will defend in a triple threat match against Joey the Jet Avalon and the King of Old School, Steve Carino. In a last man standing match for the BCW Heritage title, Pornstache Peter Schwanz will defend against the last real man, Silas Young. For their tag team titles, the Urban Assault team will defend against Assault and Battery. For the BCW Ladies Championship, Melanie Cruz will defend against Stacey Shadows. Former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Scrap Iron Adam Pearce will take on Psychotic Jim Blaze. Former Beer City Bruisers will collide as Nick Colucci goes one-on-one with Brandon Blaze. And Outlaw Russ Crossing will make his BCW debut in an open challenge. To learn more about BCW, you can follow them at BruceCity1.com or follow them on Twitter at BCW1. That's Bruce City Wrestling's March Madness, Friday, March 14th for the Knights of Columbus, 1800 South 92nd Street, West Allis, Wisconsin, 53214. Also, Jersey Championship Wrestling will be coming to the St. Matthew's Parish Gym, 81 Seymour Avenue, Edison, New Jersey, 08817. Doors are open at 6:45. Bell time is 7:45. Tickets are $20 for ringside seats. Kids and bleacher seats are $18. And the main event, JCW Heavyweight Champion Damian Darling will team up with 2014 WWE Hall of Fame inductee Jake the Snake Roberts and a mystery partner to take on the Players Club, Danny DeMonto, Eric Andretti, and Nikki Ocean. For the JCW Extreme title, Bandito Jr. will defend against Joey Janela. In singles action, Chris Steeler will take on Eric Corvus. Kyle the Beast will take on Ryan Rumble. There will be tag team action as the Down Boys take on Leon St. Giovanni and Tim Hughes. And in ladies action, Tina San Antonio will take on Renee Michelle. To learn more about JCW, you can follow them at JerseyChampionshipWrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at JCW Pro Wrestling. That's Jersey Championship Wrestling, Friday, March 14th, from the St. Matthew's Parish Gym, 81 Seymour Avenue, Edison, New Jersey, 08817. Also, Championship Wrestling Entertainment presents Uprising for the Port St. Lucie Civic Center, 9221 Southeast Civic Center Place in Port St. Lucie, Florida, 34952. Doors are open at 6:30 for those with VIP tickets. For everybody else, they'll open at 7. Bell time for the event is 8 o'clock. Tickets are, for general admission, $5 in advance, $10 at the door. For front row, $10 in advance, $15 at the door. And for VIPs, $25 in advance, $35 at the door. And for those of you with the VIP, you will be able to have a special table. You'll participate in a meet and greet that will happen at 6:30. You will check out the CWE pre-show Proving Ground at 7 o'clock. And you will have one free drink of your choice. Yeah, and suddenly I just heard Doug Barrett flying to Port St. Lucie right now.
Hey, what?
And the main event, yeah, you heard me. All right, in the main event, CWE Heavyweight Champion Doc Rivers will defend his title against the self-proclaimed king of CWE, Chico Adams. The Tokyo Monster, Kagas, will take on a mystery opponent. For the CWE Tag Team titles, the First Degree, Deacon Starr and Preston Kane will defend against the Tech Squad, TC Reed and Mike Monroe. In a triple threat match where the winner will become the number one contender for Nathan Vane's CWE National Heavyweight title. Tony Ice will compete against Adrian Marks and Vega. In a chairs match, Michael Kai Rain will take on Zach Monstar. James Anthony will compete against the mystery opponent, and Vinny Ramaguchi will make his CWE debut. Also, Era the Third, Giovanni the Greatest, Charlie Albanasi, and Max Stardom will also be on the card. To learn more about Championship Wrestling Entertainment, you can follow them at CWEPro.net or follow them on Twitter at OfficialCWEPro. That's Championship Wrestling Entertainment's Uprising, Friday, March 14th, from the Port St. Lucie Civic Center, 9221 Southeast Civic Center Place, Port St. Lucie, Florida, 34952. NWA Southern All-Star Wrestling will come to the Sawmill, 1214B, Louisville Highway, Millersville, Tennessee, 37072. Bell time's 8 p.m., and all tickets are $10. For the NWA Southern Tag Team titles, Team IOU, Nick Iggy and Kerry Awful will take on the Mayhem, Hammerhead and Gator. And in a special stipulation, a loser of the fall must eat dog food. For the NWA Southern Heavyweight title, Jason the Gift Kincaid will defend against Lance Erickson. For the NWA Television title, Sean Schultz will defend against LT Falk. In tag team action, the Victory Twins, Lex and Lee, will take on the Primetime Outlaws, Primetime Brian Lee and Lee Condry. Kevin Weatherby will be in singles action against the Exceptions, Zach Hartnell. And in ladies action, Miss Grace will take on Miss Rachel. And Damian Wayne will be the special guest on the Nitrous Noise. To learn more about Southern All-Star Wrestling, you can follow them at NWASaw.com or follow them on Twitter at NWASawOnline. That's NWA Southern All-Star Wrestling, Friday, March 14th from the Sawmill, 1214B, Louisville Highway, Millersville, Tennessee, 37072. Top Rope Promotions will have wrestling action from the Westport High School Gym, 19 Main Road in Westport, Massachusetts, 02790. Bell time for this event, 7:30. All tickets are $10. And the main event, Ring of Honor star Michael Bennett will take on Guy Alexander. For the TRP Heavyweight Championship, Nightmare Nick Still will defend against 2014 Top Prospect winner from Ring of Honor, Hanson. For the TRP Tag Team title, the Prestige, Ryan Waters and Matt Magnum will defend against Allgood, Anthony Green, and Mikey Webb. For the TRP Interstate title, Costa will defend against Brutal Bob Evans. In singles action, the one-man thrill ride, Jimmy Preston will take on Nick Westgate. And in a special tag team match with special guest referee and Westport High School student Jamie Teasdale, we have the ladies' man Gregory Edwards teaming up with the Sure Thing, Mark Sherman, to take on former Ring of Honor television champion Matt Taven and his partner Vinny Marseglia. And there will also be an appearance by former WWE and ECW superstar Spike Dudley. To learn more about TRP, you can follow them at topropepromotions.com or follow them on Twitter at TopRopePro. That's Top Rope Promotions, Friday, March 14th, from the Westport High School Gymnasium, 19 Main Road, Westport, Massachusetts, 02790. Also, Squared Circle Wrestling is going to have 2 big cards coming up. Friday, they'll have their 100th show from the American Legion Post 80. The address is 76 Main Street in Binghamton, New York, 13905. Doors are open at 7:15. Bell time's 8 p.m. Tickets are $15 general admission, front row $40. And from 4 to 7, if you're at the arena, there will be a special seminar taught by the phenomenal AJ Styles. And what's cool about this is that wrestlers, now although most of the tickets are sold out, they may have a couple left. Wrestlers, if you want to be in the seminar, it's $60. Fans, if you want to attend, it's $25. And the cool part about this is that after the seminar, at least one person will be selected to appear later on at the 100th 2CW show. And let's run down that card. With the 2CW Heavyweight Championship on the line as Isis Effects defends against Slick Wagner Brown. In a special challenge match, the phenomenal AJ Styles will take on Mr. Wrestling Kevin Steen. For the 2CW Tag Team titles, Punisher Van Slyke and Kevin the Man Graham will take on Team CK, Sean Carr and his partner Cage. In a scramble match, Super Cop Dick Justice, Captain Nick Ando, Team 3.0, Scott Parker and Shane Matthews, will also compete against Cheech and a mystery opponent. In singles action, AR Fox will take on Guerrero Loco. The Party Peacock Dalton Castle will go one-on-one with Jay Freddy. Juggernaut Jason Axe will take on Colin Delaney. Stelly Steve McKenzie will take on Peter Dirty Bomb Order. And ZS3 will go one-on-one with the EMT, Eric Mohammed Timmons. And that's Friday's Squared Circle card. Also, Saturday, they will be at the Music Youth Center, 606 Main Street in Music, Pennsylvania, 18507. Doors are open at 6:15. Bell time 7. Tickets are $12 general admission, front row $25. And prior to this show, you will actually have a chance for a meet and greet with WWE superstar Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And pictures for that is $15. Also, photographs and autographs and combo prices will be announced later. And the Saturday card, if Isis Effects retains the 2CW title, he will defend against Captain Nick Ando. In a special challenge match, Kevin Steen will go one-on-one with Jay Freddy. If Punisher Van Slyke and Kevin Graham retain the tag team titles, they'll defend it against 3.0. In an 8-man tag team flag match, the 2x4s consisting of Captain Hacksaw Jim Duggan, ZS3, Dudley Steve McKenzie, and Ghetto Loco will take on Hammond's Hackers, Ben Hammond, EMT, The Dirty Bomb, and Al Jazeera. In more tag team action, CK will take on the Extra Guys, JP and M3. In singles action, Slick Wagner Brown will go up against Colin Delaney. Juggernaut Jason Axe will go up against the Party Peacock, Dalton Castle. Super Cop Dick Justice will go one-on-one with Cheech. And in a triple threat match, Mark Maverick will take on IB Green and AJ Evers. To learn more about Squared Circle Wrestling, you can follow them at 2CWWrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at 2CW. That's Squared Circle Wrestling. With the doubleheader Friday, March 14th, from the American Legion Post 80. The address is 76 Main Street in Binghamton, New York, 13905. And Saturday, March 15th, they'll be at the Music Youth Center, 606 Main Street, Music, Pennsylvania, 18507. They will not be the only double card that will be going on because Full Impact Pro will have 2 shows. Friday, they will have Everything Burns from the Orpheum, 1915 East 7th Avenue, Ybor City, Florida, 33605. Doors are open at 8. Bell time is 9. Tickets for this are $15 for general admission, front row $20. And this is the internet pay-per-view, so you can check it out at wwnlive.com. For the CZW heavyweight title, Drew Gulak will defend against the British Messiah, Timothy Thatcher. For the FIP Florida Heritage title, Grant Akuma will defend against the Perfect 10, Lince Dorado. For the Shine Championship, Ivory will defend against one half of the new Shine Tag Team Champions, Leva Bates. And one half of the FIP Tag Team Champions, Roderick Strong, will go one-on-one with Biff Busick. Also making their debuts are the Submission Squad, Pierre Abernathy, Evangelistico, and Gary J. And also making his debut, Everything Burns, will be Blake Edward Belikas. That would be the Friday card. Saturday will be Ascension, coming at you from the Downtown Recreational Complex, 363 North Paramore Avenue in Orlando, Florida, 32801. Again, it will be same times and same prices. If Drew Gulak is still the CZW champion, he will defend against Roderick Strong. If Grant Akuma retains the Florida Heritage title, he'll defend against the British Messiah, Timothy Thatcher. And in singles action, the Perfect 10, Lince Dorado, will go one-on-one with Biff Busick. To learn more about Full Impact Pro, you can follow them at fullimpactpro.com or follow them at FIP Official. That's Full Impact Pro Wrestling, Friday, March 14th, with Everything Burns from the Orpheum, 1915 East 7th Avenue, Ybor City, Florida, 33605. And Ascension, Saturday, March 15th, from the Downtown Recreational Complex, 363 North Paramore Avenue, Orlando, Florida, 32801. And do not forget, you can catch both of those events at wwnlive.com. And finally, the Ultimate Wrestling Experience presents Night of Glory 3 from Sports City, 4141 Lingelstown Road, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17112. Doors are open at 4:30. Bell time is 6 p.m. Tickets are $12 general admission. Kids 12 and under, your tickets are worth $6. In a four-corners match for the UWE heavyweight title, Hollywood Ryan Colby will defend against the Thrill Seeker Sage Strong, the Mercenary, and the Untouchable Kevin Murphy. And special guest enforcer for this match will be former WWE and WCW heavyweight champion Big Sexy Kevin Nash. For the UWE United States title, Laszlo Arpad will defend against Slider. The winner of that match will become the seventh and final participant in a Money in the Bank match, which already features the Latin Spider, the All-Natural C4, Shane Malice, Zach Green, and the Wild Cards. And also special stipulation, if Latin Spider does not win this match, his career will be over. In a Loser Leaves Town Lumberjack match, J-Mac will go one-on-one with Richie Nightmare. In a special challenge match, the phenomenal AJ Styles will go one-on-one with A.R. Fox. Eddie Smooth will be in action against a mystery opponent. And in tag team action, Red Scorpion will team with Brian Castle to take on Adrian Bliss and Crimson. And don't forget, if you show up, there will also be a pre-show 20-man battle royal. To learn more about Ultimate Wrestling Experience, you can follow them at theuwe.com. That's Ultimate Wrestling Experience, Night of Glory 3, Saturday, March 15th, from Sports City, 4141 Lingelstown Road, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17112. And those are our cards. Ladies and gentlemen, please go out, support, and defend your local independent wrestling scene. And do remember, all cards are indeed subject to change. I want to thank, of course, our special guest, Microphone Man. Of course, make sure you guys go check him out this weekend, both Friday and Saturday, for the Bud Reimer Cup with the Southern Wrestling Association at the Forest City National Guard Armory, 890 Withrow Road in Forest City, North Carolina. microphone, thank you very much for sharing with us about that card again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And I had to have one more thing I forgot to slide in. Stephen Walters that'll be there. He is just signed with the WWE. So if you're going to want to see a man for $6 that you're going to have to spend a lot more to see, come see Stephen Walters.
All right.
I just now found that out.
All right. Awesome news to hear. And, of course, Mr. Friday Night, Doug Barrett, thank you, as always, for your insight as well. And, of course, don't forget you can catch the main event 30 minutes after SmackDown. And, as always, make sure you guys call in. You know the number 760-569-7676, access 200-446#. And always look for us on YouTube as well. And don't forget we're on Twitter at WCC Live. And, of course, Dougie, what were you trying to say, bud?
Just to give you a heads up for the ones who are listening and plan on listening to us on Friday or calling in, I will have some breaking news that came out of Ring of Honor today. For Supercard of Honor, which would be a few days before WWE WrestleMania, there will be a ladder war for the Ring of Honor World title.
I think I remember what the match was going to be, so I'll make sure we save that in for Friday. And as always, make sure you catch all of our great WCC shows, especially Ring Rockers. Like I said, we're on every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, in 2 weeks we have Tyson Dukes and Mike Hart on our independent show. Remember, special time for that episode is 8 p.m. I'll make sure I'll alert you guys to that. And as always, this is the show where the music and wrestling talk never stop. WCC Ring Rockers, for Microphone Man, for Doug Barrett, for our CEO, Mr. Team Bring It, and, of course, our executive producer, El.CIBERNETICO. I am ROCKIIN REESE. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.